indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of January 18th, 2021 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of January 18th, 2021.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Accounts payable from January 19th, 2021 to February 1st, 2021.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve the accounts payable from January 19th, 2021 until February 1st, 2021 in the amount of $3,006,515.36.
Second.
Any comments? Call
Mr.
the
Mayor.
roll.
Oh, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Calandrello.
Yes, I just want, know this on page, I want to say it's 6, there's a vendor 4156 Chicago Tile Insurance Company. I know we got to pay the bills, but the line item says ownership searches. It's $2,275. Can I just get the invoice and the work that was done on that item? That seems so high for one search. I know we have to pay our bills, but it just seems high and interesting. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Consent agenda.
Consent agenda. Item A, payroll for January 22nd, 2021, approval. Item B, adding any negligent, intentional, or malicious acts to the disruption of utility service, recommended amended ordinance. Item C, resolution approving proposal from DLZ Inc., traffic signal interconnection, Phase 3, construction engineering services, 143rd Street between Wolf Road and Ravinia. Item D, holiday lighting services contract renewal. Item E, fertilization and weed control budget and contract amendment or adjustment, sorry. Item F, clarifying the roles and responsibilities of a business as it pertains to Title VII, Chapter 4, Section 23, conduct of liquor licensee, recommended amended ordinance.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
move to approve items A through F of the consent agenda.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello. Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Network communication infrastructure contract.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
move to approve the contract with Insight Public Sector Incorporated through the Omnia Partner Cooperative Purchase Contract for IT products and services with work to be performed by Mindsight for a not-to-exceed amount of $518,087.94, and to authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review.
Second.
Any questions or comments? So George, just really quickly, this is to rewire all of our buildings, correct? Just so the public knows what it is.
So this is one of the phases of our IT upgrade. Dave, if you want to just talk about what this is.
Yeah, this is kind of the middle layer of the cake. About a month ago, we went to you with a cabling infrastructure contract, and that was to recable most of our facilities. This is the second piece to that, which is connecting that cable to network communications infrastructure to actually run the data communications network.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
RFP 21-001, landscape management and maintenance.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
Move to approve awarding RFP 21-001 to Christie Weber and Company, Chicago, Illinois, for the 21-23, with the village's option to extend an additional 2 years for an amount not to exceed the annual board-approved budget amounts.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I would just like to make a comment on this, is that I see a lot of local landscape companies around here, and I don't see too many of those names on our bidders list of getting bids or, plans or whatever. And so I just wish we had more local representation around here. I think that we have a lot of landscape companies and I think they're a quality thing, and I would say they're more prone to hire local people for their business, but I'm just guessing at that. But I look at the list of this customer, and there's a lot of City of Chicago contracts in their resume, and that doesn't tell me that we're to me it's not a great connotation. But anyway, I just want to make a comment. I wish we had more local representation, and I don't know how to get the word out to the local contractors before it arrives here. So I just wish we could.
Every one of our bids follows the process, and something that's unique for this community is that each one of our bids also gets posted on social media a couple times. So we really want, obviously we want local vendors to bid, but for one reason or another, either the scope of this project or whatever, these are very good bidders that we've received. These are very good prices that we've received. So the upside of this is that we have 4 solid quotes or bids, and we're going with the lowest responsible bidder.
George, a lot of business owners don't follow social media. I can tell you that for a fact. So I'm just wishing there were better ways.
So I know a little bit about this, and part of it is scope. Part of it is the companies in the area that could. A lot of the companies aren't big enough probably to do this. Those that were borderline big enough to do this, like my company, they can't bid because I don't own it anymore. But the individual rents my property, so we've just decided not to allow them to bid. And then the other couple just don't do any municipal work. They're not willing to do it. So that's why you're seeing what you see. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way that it goes. And a lot of it is because a lot of these guys are one-truck guys. They just couldn't possibly do it.
And the other thing is, it's not just social media where we advertise. Once it goes on BidNet, you have a lot of services that pick off of BidNet. So you have companies out there whose job is to find these opportunities, and then these companies subscribe to these newsletters and stuff. So the word gets out. We get lots of downloads, but for whatever reason, again, probably mainly scope, but again, we got 4 solid bidders.
Okay.
Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. So for Peony Place, the ordinance for variances, Trustee Katsinas would like to discuss it after the officials agenda initiative. So no objections, if we can accommodate that.
So we're moving this?
Yeah, we're just moving it to behind the agenda initiative.
Amendment to Charlton Highlands, granting an amendment to a special use permit for a plan development modifications to the land development code.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
can I have an ordinance number?
5587.
I move to pass ordinance number 5587 entitled Ordinance Granting an Amendment to a Special Use for Planned Development with Modifications, Charlton Highlands, 9437 and 9438 Rich Lane, 9425, 9430, 9434, 9437, and 9438 Maria Lane.
Second?
Are there any questions or comment? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Candralo?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Build Orland fiscal year 2021.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to recommend to the village board to approve an extension of the Build Orland program for fiscal year 2021, allowing the deferral of permit fee payment for new single-family residential permits until final occupancy. Or I move to recommend to the village board to approve an extension of the Build Orland program for fiscal year 2021, allowing a 25% reduction in permit fees and a deferral of permit fee payment for new single-family residential permits until final occupancy.
You have to pick one
You
or the
gotta,
other.
you gotta pick one.
You read two different motions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that first one, or whatever. All right, let me start over again. I move to recommend to the village board to approve an extension of the Build Orland program for fiscal year 2021, allowing the deferral of permit fee payment for new single-family residential permits until final occupancy.
Second.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Dodge.
I realize the motion on the floor simply calls for an extension of a program we started some time back, and I guess I had a question for staff. We're only approving it for fiscal year 2021, correct?
That's correct. So every year, this gets renewed.
Correct.
Yeah, no, it's a worthwhile program, and where my head is at, just as a comment, is if it's a one-year approval, given the pace of vaccine rollout and given the ever-changing world of COVID variants, I really don't have a problem with the reduction to try and incent some development as the economy tries to heal, but as long as it's a one-year approval. I just want to make sure of that, so.
So maybe Ed can talk
Well,
about this.
It's for 2021 only.
Yeah.
And I have no problems with going for the reduction either, so I would be happy to entertain an amendment to include the allowing a 25% reduction in permit fees. Anybody?
Chairman?
So moved.
Second.
Who made the
Moved
motion?
by Trustee Fenton, seconded by Trustee Malani. Any comments on the amendment? Call the roll on the amendment.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Candralo?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. So now we're talking about the main amendment, or the amended motion, so it's moved to recommend the village board approve an extension of the Build Orland program for the fiscal year 2021, only 2021, allowing a 25% reduction in permit fees and the deferral of permit fee payment for new single-family residential permits till final occupancy. Any comments, any more comments on that? Again, I think this is a good idea. You know, everyone has struggled with COVID-related issues, and this is giving people some latitude, especially with the banking and everything else that's going on right now, so I think this is a good idea. Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Candralo?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
RV concession renewal.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Malani.
I move to approve renewing the concessions agreement with RV Concessions to operate the concession stands at Centennial Park, the Centennial Park Aquatic Center, the John Humphrey Complex, and select village special events for the 2021 and 2022 seasons.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Candralo? Aye. Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Agenda initiative, independent investigation of single-family homes purchased and sold by the village.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Katsinas?
I'd like to motion this for discussion only.
Okay. Trustee Katsinas?
As a trustee, it's my job to look out for the residents of Orland Park. Last board meeting, I pointed out that former Mayor Dan McLaughlin hid ownership of a property. For this, the former Mayor Dan McLaughlin's attorney, former trustee Mike Carroll, sent me a letter threatening me with a lawsuit the next day. I don't like bullies, and I don't like to be threatened. This caused me to do more research, and it turns out that both the former mayor, Dan McLaughlin, and former trustee Mike Carroll voted on this property to table a motion on April 3rd, 2017. Again, it was a meeting right before the election for mayor. I'm sure Councilor Walsh would agree that when the mayor is a property owner and the trustee is his attorney on the purchase, no vote, not even a tabling, should be cast. It's an obvious conflict. Since the threat, Dan McLaughlin has admitted that he hid ownership on the property, saying, "I purposely did not want to make an issue with staff or have staff know that I was one of the owners." He added, "I believe that it was better not to have the staff feel obligated or somehow feel under pressure to have the mayor's property different." This statement is an admission on public record that he is in violation of the Orland Park Village Code, Section 5101J, which states any member of a decision-making body having any direct interest in a property which is the subject of a public hearing or public meeting should disclose such fact prior to voting on the matter. Our Section 5101(3)(f), if the property is owned by a trust, a certified copy of the trust agreement, a list of the beneficiaries, and a letter of authorization to submit the petition from the trust officer is required. Also, state law states 765 ILCS 405/2, Section 2, whenever any trustee of a land trust or any beneficiary or beneficiaries of a land trust make an application to the state of Illinois or to any of its agencies or political subdivisions, that would be Orland Park, for any benefit, authorization, license, or permit relating to the land which is subject to such a trust, any interest therein, improvement thereto, or use thereof, such application shall identify each beneficiary of such a land trust by name, address, and define their interest therein. Each beneficiary shall be identified regardless of the beneficial interest in the land trust. I did more research and identified that this is more than just an isolated incident. I have some documents here I will pass out. Here are two for you. These documents, you could see that on April 3rd, 1989, while still a trustee, Dan McLaughlin voted on an ordinance that modified zoning that was recorded on the deed to a house he purchased in 1979 and sold in June 1990, shortly after the zoning change. We know that this type of behavior started at least 32 years ago. Then we have the Humphrey property. As I previously stated, our founding family gifted the residents of Orland Park his personal residence and a vacant lot. The vacant parcel did not show up on the village request of properties purchased and sold. Instead, this vacant Humphrey lot became a part of a land swap. The village purchased 2 lots nearby, and as a part of the transaction included the Humphrey lot. The cost of the purchase was $200,000, with the value on the Humphrey lot at $62,500. Vacant Old Orland improved lot for $62,500. Again, highly questionable with no supporting appraisals in the file. The village purchased lots currently has no signage and is located less than 2 blocks from a village park. All village-owned parks, properties, buildings, and even vehicles are lettered and identified that make the public aware of ownership. And in this case, Orland Park places signs on properties letting the public know that it is open for use and it's a taxpayer-owned property. This is not the case on the lots that the village purchased. The Humphrey lot was swapped and resold 6 months later to the business partner of the former mayor. There is no doubt that all these sales and purchases need to be investigated. However, it's clear to me on the Beacon Avenue property, we need to put a stop on this permit as all owners on the trust were not identified per ordinance and state law. Additionally, this needs to be investigated to determine whether the former mayor's actions and admission warrant a complaint to be filed with appropriate law enforcement authorities for this potential violation or any others that may have occurred. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani?
I had other questions, but after hearing that, I'm not even going to bother asking them. I would just say at this point, you know, I'm all for moving forward with this investigation, especially after hearing that. What I'm afraid of, though, is if we continue to move forward and peel back the layers of this onion, what else we're going to find. I mean, if you just look at the 5 properties that we've been talking about, plus this, Village has lost over $950,000, almost $1 million playing real estate games. If you look at this, I think we could have probably put that money to a lot better use. So please, let's continue moving forward with whatever options we have. This is upsetting.
Any other comments?
Mayor Pico,
Trustee Dodge?
if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in the comments from Trustee Katsina, she asked a very specific question of Mr. Walsh. I'd like to hear his answer.
On the question of voting?
Yeah, she asked you a specific question. Your law firm represented the village at the time. What is your law firm's answer to the specifics of the question Cindy Katsinas asked you? Excuse me, Trustee Katsinas.
I can tell you that in my opinion, when a trustee has a significant enough interest in a matter that comes before the board, that she or he is compelled to abstain from voting, that trustee should go ahead and abstain in every vote that is taken with respect to that matter, including a motion to table. In other words, the trustee should not participate in any debate or decision as it relates to the item in which they have a conflict of interest in any manner, including participating in the vote to postpone the motion or the matter.
So you stated that as an opinion. Is that basically your experience with the precedent of law on that question in the state? Our rules and/or state of Illinois?
I don't know the Robert's Rules specifically addresses the issue, but it's pretty clear to me that when you're tabling, then you're voting to postpone or suspend a matter that's before the board of which you have a conflict. It seems logical, both from a legal perspective and just common sense, that you should stay completely out of the issue with respect to any disposition of that matter.
Yeah, I mean, so we're clear. If Mike Carroll and Dan McLaughlin did something that is now alleged, or I think the quote was, violated our code basically is local ordinance. It's essentially a local law. Is that correct, Mr. Walsh?
The ordinance is a village ordinance, correct?
Right, so then if indeed the folks who are doing great free research for the village think that a law in a broad definition of that was broken, call the police department, call a public integrity unit, call the attorney general. You know, this endlessly political investigation concerns me. I think Trustee Katsinas, you said you have an obligation to the people of Orland Park. Well, so do I. And as of right now, I'm not convinced we should spend any public dollar on what is an inherently a political question a couple of months before an election. You've done great research. Give it to George. This started with a election law violation. Call up the State Board of Election. Get an opinion in writing, George. There's been an accusation tonight that rules were broke, laws were broke, state and/or village, then file a formal charge. Let's not have this endless, what looks to be infinitely political, ongoing debate to say, oh, bang, 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 we've got an investigation. File the charge.
Any other comments? So my comments for tonight, a lot of new stuff again. I'm not shocked by Mike Carroll's behavior. I dealt with his antics for 2 years on this board floor as 5 other trustees sat back, said nothing, did nothing, let it go on, and admonished me whenever I pushed back. Bullies like to work together and in a pack. I applaud Trustee Katsinas for fighting back and not taking it. We need to we need to figure out how we stop this permit, because clearly our rules were broken. We have that information, so we need to check into that, so please bring that to the board. What has been brought forth tonight includes a threat from an attorney who represents the trust and the owners of the trust, an admission to ownership and trust members that were not disclosed as required by Illinois law and village ordinance, votes on the property by both the person who admitted to ownership and the attorney who made the previously mentioned threats, which is problematic, a pattern of behavior from the former mayor who voted not only on the recent property for which he admitted ownership, but also voted on a zoning matter, including his own, a pattern of special insider deals, and what as a minimum could be described as a pattern of unethical behavior. This clearly warrants further investigation. The question is, who should do it? Following what Trustee Dodge said, based on what I have seen prior to tonight, plus what has been brought forth tonight, there are alleged violations of the law and what appears to be an admission of such in a public statement. All of this is supported by a significant amount of documentation which the board has been given and is on their website. At this point, it seems to me that the next step would be to have a conversation with the appropriate authorities to determine if Orland Park needs to further investigate this matter, or if there's enough for another agency to continue the investigation at this point. Chief Mitchell, based on your experience, would this be your recommended next step?
Yes.
So I will entertain a motion to postpone this item to the next meeting, February 15th.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor
Call the roll.
Peacock?
This is a priority motion. Call the roll.
I have a right to comment on this.
No, you do not.
Why not?
Because it is a postponement, it is a priority motion, so there's no discussion on a postponement.
So we get to keep the investigation alive. Yet another political stunt.
You are out of order.
You're damn right I'm out of
You're
order.
out of order.
One more time, I didn't hear you.
Follow Robert's rules. Postponing means that there is no
Sure, let's have
discussion on
honest,
the
open
matter.
discussions.
Call the roll.
Who made the motion?
What's that?
Who made the motion?
I did.
Mike Malani.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Cotton?
Aye. Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
No.
Trustee Calendaro?
Based on the definition of conflict of interest, I need to abstain.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Mayor Peacock?
Aye. Motion carries.
Peony Place ordinance for variances?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
can I have an ordinance number, please?
5586.
Thank you. I move to pass ordinance number 5586 entitled, "An Ordinance Approving a Variance to Increase Maximum Lot Width and Waive Required Sidewalk Peony Place Subdivision, 14421 2nd Avenue and 9852 West 144th Place.
Second.
Any comments?
Out of curiosity, sir, Mr. Chairman? Out of curiosity, why was this moved?
Trustee Katsinas asked me to move it.
No, I just, curiosity, why?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Katsinas.
Yeah, based on the information here, I did get a chance to review past ownership records of Peony Place, and I don't believe the village had any interest in those properties. The applicant certainly followed all the rules and complied with the zoning, and so I don't see any reason why. Certainly, I will be voting for this.
And why did you move it to
Because there was a concern with another gentleman who has a development in that same area. Again, the business partner of the former mayor, that I wanted to make sure that there were no ties to that, and there did not appear to be any.
Okay. Any other comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Village of Orland Park Senior Newsletter Printing Approval.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to recommend to the village board to approve and accept the proposal from One Step Inc. for the printing and delivery of the senior newsletter for 1 year with an option to extend for 2 additional years.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. Non-scheduled citizens and visitors?
I gave them to you.
What's that?
I gave
Yeah,
them.
I've got them. Starting with Joe Stalzer from Fox Bend Court. A reminder to all the speakers, you have 3 minutes.
Hello, thank you for granting me the opportunity to speak. My name's John Stalzer, a resident here in Orland Park. As we all know, a Capitol Police officer lost his life at the insurrectionists. Insurrectionists stormed the Capitol building on January 6th. I've been quite disappointed that the village has not denounced this insurrection. So I have 2 questions. One, Mr. Mayor and members of the village, were any of you in Washington, D.C. on January 6th? And 2, Mr. Mayor and members of the board, do you individually and/or as a group condemn the insurrection on January 6th? That's all I have.
Thank you for your comments. Michael Cook.
Good evening. My name is Michael Cook. I've lived in Orland Park for 16 years. I'm a proud Orland Park resident. What I've seen here tonight is very disappointing. I didn't understand why we continue to spend village resources with my tax dollars to fund investigations and attacks and lawsuits against opponents of the current mayor and his political allies. First, we sued the governor and spent tens of thousands of dollars doing absolutely nothing, wasting money, wasting time that should have been spent trying to solve the problems created by the pandemic and support our small businesses. Then the village sued over this robocall issue when it's clear that some of the folks in attendance tonight are the very people sending these calls. More games again. Now we're spending the taxpayer dollars to investigate Mayor Pekow's opponent in the upcoming election. This kind of stuff has no place in Orland Park. Mayor Pekow, can we please stop wasting taxpayer dollars on political games and get back to the things that that actually matter in this town? And I'll finish by saying, I'm ashamed to actually be a resident of Orland Park with watching everything that's going on in my town since you've been mayor. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Rob Ryder, head of the American Federation of Labor.
Actually, Mayor, I'm here as a resident of Orland Park.
Okay.
I live in the southwest side of Orland. I grew up just next door in Homer Township. I lived in virtually my entire life, either in Orland Park or here in the area. And like many of the residents, when the robocalls started in 2016, 2017, it was incredibly disturbing. Robocalls we all received without having any identification of the people who were paying for the calls or why we were receiving the calls. As someone whose day job it is to be involved with advocacy, I'm normally used to people disclosing who are on the calls. Now, I will commend the village for recognizing this as a nuisance and trying to go after the perpetrators of these calls. But the thing that came out here today is there was a public filing that was made, I think last week, and is available from the court website. And this is the lawsuit that the village filed against Mike Henry and unnamed defendants that we have now received a response from Mr. Henry. It says, draft complaint for settlement discussions only. And this was received from the court clerk today. So this information is public. This is information that I got this afternoon, and I'm incredibly disturbed by the emails that reference Mayor Pekow working with Mike Henry to have these voicemails that I received, that my neighbors received, that had no attribution to who was sending them. And for the mayor, Keith, looking at you, the fact that you want to bring a lawsuit and for the actions, the things that you're actually doing, you're actually the unnamed defendant that should be named along with Mike Henry. So here's what I'm asking for. If these emails are correct, if these emails between you and Mr. Henry occurred, and you're behind some of these robocalls that do not have attribution, that have been nuisances to this community, and the village feels strongly, and it's not political theater, and this is something that you want to pursue, then the village needs to look at adding Mayor Keith Pekow as a defendant in this lawsuit. And one other thing that I'd like to have cleared up is, are you an owner or aren't you an owner or groundskeeper? Because if you go to the Illinois State Board of Elections website, you are still listed as an owner or groundskeeper landscaping. I've lived here. My family is part of this community. I'm involved in civic organizations locally. I love this place. I'm tired of watching what's going on and you using these meetings to tee up information that you can share on Facebook and having everybody go, ooh, ah. This is small town government. It needs to be run transparency, but transparency goes for everybody, and that includes you, Keith. And if anybody's interested, it says, being a lawyer, I find it interesting that it says draft complaint for settlement discussion only at the top because it's unusual for a pleading. But if you don't want to, if you can't get this off from the clerk's office, I'd be happy to share copies of this with anybody who wants to see them. It's quite a read. Thank you.
Yeah, we've seen it. Thanks. Any other comments? Board comments?
Keith.
Trustee Fenton.
Keith.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought when you said any comments.
Okay. Ms. Williams?
My name is Virginia Williams. I've been in this village going on 43 years. When I moved into this town, I moved from Chicago Ridge. I wanted a better town. I wanted better politics. I was very active in the politics in Chicago Ridge, and I didn't care for it. I didn't like what I was being told. My house was not mine. That's why I moved to Orland Park. I came to the board meetings. When McLaughlin was here, I came to the meetings. And McLaughlin was in the village as mayor at least 7 years too long with all the things that he did, and I didn't know about this. I do know about a piece of property that I am familiar with that he was involved in. I don't understand what is going on here, but I'll tell you, Mr. Peacock, you are going to get my vote because I think you're a damn good mayor so far. If you can clean up this town and stop this political crap going on and stop the property being sold out from under us, I'm paying taxes not to lose $1 million or almost $1 million because our politics wants to do better. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your comments. Trustee Fenton.
Well, on that happy little note, I just have I have a clarification question. The vote that we just took on this political whatever, since everybody has prepared statements in front of them, and I don't, but what we agreed, what some of us agreed to continue was strictly for staff to look into this, correct?
It's postponed. The discussion is postponed until the next meeting. That was the motion that was on the table.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Postpone it to the next meeting.
Okay, so I still haven't gotten back my answers that I asked about a month ago to some of the stuff that we were, so George, when you get a chance, if you could get around to answering those questions, I'd greatly appreciate it. And then I have a list of more questions that I won't bother taking up people's times with now, but since we're going back to property purchases, back to when the Village of Orland Park was incorporated, will we also be receiving all of that information too?
Mr. Chairman, point of order. This is closing comments.
These are board comments, so we
Yes.
Not
stick to board
deliberation.
comments and not engage the staff at
Well,
this time.
that's part of my comments. Okay, so if you could look into that, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the Public Works Department for the great job in this past snowstorm, since we had up between 11 and 12 inches of snow. I was telling Joel that as I was out there doing my driveway, I saw one of our plows come by, and unfortunately, they took the mailbox with them, but we know that's going to be replaced, and I informed the resident not to panic, it'll be replaced. But I think they did a great job, and I think a lot of people just have to remember to be patient, that we have main roads that we have to clear first, and then they get to the subdivision roads. But at least they came down, did one swipe down, and then they came back to clear it up. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the police department for their safe and accurate information that was let out last week with the incident down at 143rd and Wilcook Road. It was nice to see that the accurate information made it out there. Unfortunately, it was after that the media, twisted things around and gave some misinformation, which did scare some of the residents that live down in that area. I'd also like to congratulate the police department on receiving the award for the Safe City Award. That's kudos to the police department, because they're the ones that keep us safe. Also like to announce that the museum is having on February 5th at 6:30 a Capone and Route 66 event. On February 20th, Emancipation to inauguration, which is at 11 o'clock. And right now at the museum, our current exhibit is all about the fun and games. And it's a display at the museum that goes till June 5th. And all the games and events that are in display go back all the way back to the 1890s. So there's a lot of fun stuff there to go look to see what the games were before everybody had Nintendo and Switch and PlayStation and everything, where they actually had homemade games and had a lot of fun. So, thank you.
Trustee Dodge.
Echoing Trustee Fenton's comments, appreciate the work that Public Works did. Always a tough thing to have 12-ish inches of heavy snow. George, I appreciate some of the follow-ups that you and I chatted about via text. There's more to come, a couple of open questions, but definitely give my regards to staff for getting that done. And that's it.
Trustee Calendaro.
I just want to echo everyone's kudos to the police department, particularly for the last week with the quick action. I think the key thing is we solve crimes. They happen here, but we solve them. I think people know that, and I don't have to say, but they're one of the best in the nation. I've said that almost daily now. Second of all, the question someone asked me, and asked everyone, is no, I was not in the Capitol. That day I was at court and in the closings. And second of all, I said that before, but I definitely condemn the attack on the Capitol. I used to work in that building, and my coworkers had to bar the door in the majority whip's office. It was sad, and I definitely condemn the actions of those illegal actions on our Capitol. Thank you, and I think the whole board, I think everyone deserves those answers. If we support that, those treasonous actions or not. Thank you.
Can you comment? Trustee Healy, can you comment at all?
I'd like to have two comments tonight, and if a good and a bad one. We'll start with the bad one first, and that is, as a resident of the greater southwest side of Chicago, a 12-year-old girl, Kira Robinson, was killed in a horrific car crash. And she was an Oak Lawn resident, but she was killed by a guy who was out on bond for 3 serious felonies, a couple gun charges, and that, out on bond. And this is just part of the danger that our elected officials, some of them, have put us in. The state's attorney, the Chief Judge Tim Evans, and your elected officials downstate. They've made this not a safe society. The law and order is, not a priority for them. We can expect more violence, like we can see, until these people change their policy. As of today, they haven't done a thing to change their ways. So expect more felonious behavior on the part of these people who are walking free. On the good side, now on the bright side, I just want to give a heartfelt thanks to Ahmad before he's leaving. This is his last board meeting. I would describe him as hardworking, affable, kind, patient, and professional. And it really, I can't tell you how much he meant to a new trustee less than 2 years ago coming in, and his patience with all of the questions that we bugged him with and that, but he really made it easy to transition. And thank you, Ahmad, for that. You're a role model, and I'm glad you're, we're going to miss you as working here, but I'm glad you're still a resident of Orland. We're proud of that. Thank you.
Trustee Katsinas.
Thank you. I just want to echo Trustee Healy's comments on Ahmad. You're an outstanding employee. Sorry you're going, but I know you're moving up in your career, and maybe you'll come back one day. But thank you for your kindness. You truly are kind and a very dedicated professional. And for those that weren't here for the committee meeting, Orland Park resident and CEO of Four Seasons Heating and Cooling, David Musial, graciously donated $20,000 to the Orland Park Police Department to help fund the body-worn camera program. So I just want to make that thank you to him and his organization again. Thank you.
Trustee Malani.
Thank you. As Trustee Katsinas just mentioned, yes, I also like to thank David for his kind donations as well. I mean, the police department means a lot to me, on a personal level, and we definitely appreciate that type of kindness to our police department. And also, while we're on that topic, thank you once again, Chief Mitchell and your staff, for continuing to do a fantastic job with the couple incidents that have been going on over the past week, but most importantly, making us the safest village in the state of Illinois. We can't do it without you guys. Over the weekend, I was able to join the mayor at a ribbon cutting for a new restaurant called Flav's, and I can't believe it's not meat. I think it's really great to see independent businesses come from the city and choose Orland Park as a suburb that they wish to do business in and expand their business, especially during a pandemic. It really just shows the economic strength that we have here in Orland Park, and I wish them the best of luck. Cinderella Ball is sold out, and the Easter egg hunt is coming on March 27th. Thank you, staff, for the hard work and making sure that we can adapt our events, and most important, make them safe for others, and most importantly, fun. And again, thank you, Ahmad, for all that you've done. I've known you since before I was a trustee, and you've always done a great job. You're very thorough, and I think you'll do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. So we listened to some comments from residents, and one in particular bringing up baseless claims from Mike Henry. Just to point out, Mike Henry, I could bring in two full boxes this big of the Mike Henry allegations and threats for the last 18 months to 19 months against about 35 or 40 different people, and probably about 140 different allegations. Every one of those has been dismissed. Additionally, this particular motion, the judge has granted all of the other villages' motions to strike his frivolous motions, and they granted the villages sanctions to ask for sanctions against him and attorney's fees for what we spent so far. So this is just another frivolous motion. They've all been dismissed. This one will be too.
Address the email that you wrote to Mike Henry.
You are out of order. You had your opportunity to speak. If you want to campaign, do it at another time. Don't do it here. You're out of order. Please have him removed. So again, like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, we gave him time to speak. And regarding the stuff that happened tonight, we have a responsibility to investigate this. Nobody wanted this. This all came from a ridiculously low offer on a piece of property. And that's what we're finding, and that's what we're digging up. And that's our job. Our job, if something was done wrong, then it was done wrong. It's very concerning over time that the village, because I looked at all these documents, from 2005 or 2000 to 2016, nothing but real estate acquisitions. Tons of real estate acquisitions. We had a business acquisition. We acquired Orland Health and Fitness. We tried to acquire a golf course, which was stopped. It leads you to wonder what the government's supposed to be doing. Well, government shouldn't be in the real estate business. It leads us to do things that, when we own properties, to do bad things. 64 out of 65 $1 million on apartments we put in. We have at University of Chicago, we undercut 2 other properties for the University of Chicago. And we end up with a non-tax paying, because they are non-for-profit, in a TIF. So all of our taxing bodies get no increment from that because they don't pay any taxes. So those are the kinds of things it leads you to do when you acquire all this property, and not let the private market do that. It's not government's role to do this stuff. We need to focus on the things that we do, and we do well. We need to focus on things like police. That's what we do well. That's what we're supposed to do, things that you can't do. And our police do a great job, as you guys are all aware. As you heard earlier today, Public Works, great job, with the snow removal. So these are the things that you can't do. But the private sector can develop land. To echo the points here, I want to thank David Musial for supporting us at Four Seasons. From Four Seasons Heating and Air Conditioning, for giving us $20,000 towards our body cameras. That was fantastic. We really thank him. He's an Orland Park resident and a great business, and so thank you very much. Everyone, please have a safe next 2 weeks. It's supposed to get really cold this weekend. Please be safe. I don't think we have any other big storms on the horizon, so that would be good. And again, thanks to Public Works, thanks for police for all that you do. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Fenton.
Move to go in executive session for A, approval of minutes, B, collective negotiating matters between the village and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees, C, purchase or lease of real property for the use of the village, D, pending litigation against, affecting, or on behalf of the village when found by the board that such action is probable or imminent.
Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Healy. Aye. Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.